Alrighty then. Got the music on. Okay. We are all set. But anyway, hello everybody. Welcome on in. Welcome to the 13th episode of my Zelda podcast, the Kokiri Chronicles, where I talk about things from the Legend of Zelda every third day of the month. So, last time you guys were here, I sat down here and talked about why Ocarina of Time is my favorite game of all time. I had a lot of fun talking about it. It was super fun. So if you guys have not seen that, please do yourselves a favor and go check it out. But also, I want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for allowing me to do this for a whole year. On the day of this recording, it started a whole year ago. It started 1 year from today, back in 2024, to where I first started doing the Zelda podcast, sitting down here talking about all things Zelda with you. Even though originally I was supposed to talk about it back in January 2024, but unfortunately we couldn't do that because on the first week of January I had a family member who passed away, so unfortunately I couldn't do that. So here we are, 1 year later, and we're already on the 13th episode. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to the podcast and always watching them on YouTube. So it's been fun, and I actually have a lot of fun doing this. And I'm looking at Twitch chat right now. I see Ostafia, Goof, and Amber here. Welcome on in, y'all. Welcome in, friends. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hope you guys enjoy today's podcast. So, and if you guys are also new, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good jazz. Really does help me out a lot. So today's topic, we are in the month of February. Romance is in the air right now. Romance is in the air. So I thought about, you know what? Why don't we talk about Link and Zelda's relationship in every Zelda game they're in? We're going to talk about the relationship, how great is their chemistry in each game that they're in, Maybe there might be some, we'll talk about some to where they actually do, obviously, like each other, like in romantic standpoint. So we definitely will be talking about that. So we'll be covering the games that they're in. So, without further ado, y'all, let's get started. And I'm looking at Goof. Thank you so much, Goof, for posting in the YouTube links in the chat. You are awesome. You are awesome, Sauce Goof. Thank you, Goof. Thank you, me. Oh. Anyway, so we're going to start off with the first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go chronologically through timeline order. So, of course, what better way to start off chronologically in the timeline order than, of course, with Skyward Sword. Now, for anyone here who is a hardcore Zelda fan, such as myself, a lot of people know that almost everybody, and I mean a lot of people, really do ship Link and Zelda in this game. And I actually happen to be one of those people. Because, without a doubt, Link and Zelda's chemistry in this game, in Skyward Sword, is so damn good. It is honestly, is one of the most recognizable ships throughout the entire Zelda series. It's really, really good. Like, starting off with the fact of, like, of course, like, these are two people who actually live in they're students in Skyloft over in the Knight Academy. They've been childhood friends, They've been childhood friends. They've been living on Skyloft together with the rest of the other Skyloftians. But I think it's really cool that, like, how great their relationship is. Like obviously they started off when they were kids, and I feel like that when we start playing Skyward Sword, like, their relationship just begins to fully blossom, and the whole thing just starts like at the beginning of Skyward Sword with the wing ceremony. You have like Link and Zelda and everybody in Skyloft celebrating the Wing Festival. Of course, obviously, Link is going to definitely do his best to participate. And even Zelda herself is like, she gets all worried, thinking about, like, what if Link fails? What if something bad happens to him? And you can tell, like, she definitely has, like, a strong feelings towards him. I would definitely say that Skyward Sword Zelda, she definitely has, like, a strong crush on Link. Like, obviously we see like a lot of obvious hints that she's actually is into him. Like, because, like, even her dad, the headmaster, Gapora, says, like, like, every time you worry about Link, you turn into a totally different person. Which, honestly, he's kind of right. He's pretty much right, because, like, you know, you can definitely tell like how much like their chemistry has been. I mean, honestly, we don't know what their childhood was like back when they were tiny, but obviously we can tell that they really do like each other. And I feel like that almost a lot of people who live in Skyloft actually know about Link and Zelda's relationship. Like you have Groose over here who's all jealous and like, I mean, he's also got feelings for her, but the dude's like oh, you can't even do anything about what Zelda wants to do, huh? Like he's over here being, instead of like, you know, not only is he just being a pompous jackass throughout the entire game, like he's just completely jealous. Like you know, like he can't have what Link and Zelda have. So he like, so in other words, he kind of acts like he's like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. You know, like it's like he's gonna eat, like he thinks like all brawn is gonna be what wins Zelda's heart. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. Sorry, buddy. It does not work that way, Bruce. But I just really like their chemistry, their relationship is just so strong. I really do like the wing ceremony. The wing ceremony is definitely one of the most memorable parts throughout the entire game. Towards Zelda definitely plays a role as a goddess. And she's all happy and smiling and like being all giggly, like you know, being happy that her best friend actually won the Wing Festival, even though Groose and Colin and Stritch were trying to cheat. Assholes. But right after Zelda gets kidnapped by Girahim, I feel like that we definitely get to experience a side of Link to where he actually really likes her. Because when I first started playing Skyward Sword, and I played Skyward Sword many times, I've even completed the game a lot of times, I feel like that we get to experience a side of Link to where he actually really cares about her. Like throughout the game, like where I'm playing to Skyward Sword, like traveling to the surface and flying towards the skies, like I feel like that I actually wanted to save her. Because like Link and Zelda's chemistry in Skyward Sword, again, it is so strong, it's so good. Like you can definitely like see in a way like how Link just feels so determined that he just wants to save his best friend, you know? He really cares about her a lot, and he will do everything that he can to like protect her. Like even during the scene that like at the Temple of Times, where like, you know, Girahim is getting ready to attack both Zelda and Impa, and Link just steps in trying to make sure that none of that happens. But later on throughout the game, I definitely do want to talk about probably my favorite part in Skyward Sword that involves both Link and Zelda. And that is the scene in the sealed temple in the past. And that is where so Zelda definitely learns like how like, oh, you know, Girahim is trying to resurrect his fallen master, the Demon King Demise. And she definitely wants to play her part as the role of the goddess to put a stop to it. So not only was she able to like give Link her blessing by using her blessing to like have the Master Sword be at its full potential, its full strength and all that, but it's just really, really sad to where we actually talk about and even learn about like how like she says like, oh, you know, I missed the carefree days that we had back in Skyloft, you know, flying our loft wings together and doing all that stuff. Like you feel that, like you feel like you just feel it in your heart that you could definitely feel like what Zelda's going through, like what she's feeling, like, and like everything that she tells Link, like you just feel it. You just really feel it in your heart because like when you hear like those words of what she tells Link, like it, like to me it kind of feels like you would experience something like what you would like if you were having this discussion with your romantic partner, you know, talking about like, oh, you know, I remember like the day when we first met, when we had our first date, when we shared our first kiss, you know, like pretty much that, like you just feel it right here and you feel your heartstrings just like tug you so hard, like. And that's exactly what I feel in this game, in Skyward Sword. Like their dynamic, their relationship is just, it's so strong. It just really tugs your heartstrings. And like And when Zelda had to be put into sleep for like so long, and like you can see like Link so worried, like he's over here just like banging on the glass, like trying to get her out, and like Zelda's telling, like saying like, you know, don't worry about me, I'll be fine, everything's gonna be okay. And then she's just like, and I think it's cute like how she likes to call him Sleepyhead, because mostly, you know, like she's always been the one who's always been waking up Link a lot since he's always sleeping. But what's just cute is just that she says, you know, before she gets put in her sleep, to where she says, this time, I'm counting on you, Sleepyhead. I want you to wake me up this time. And I hope you keep that promise. And right after she's done talking, what really breaks my heart is that Link is so depressed. He is so sad, and like to a point that you can actually hear him crying. And it really breaks my heart, dude. It breaks my heart to hear Link actually crying. Like you just feel that pain in his heart. Like he's sad. Like he just, you know, like he wants to do everything that he can just to be there for his friend, and like wants to make sure that none of this ever happens, where Demise is gonna get resurrected and revived, and like, and I feel like that's like mostly like it's the only Zelda game to where we actually experience Link actually crying. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's been some games where we see Link like all sad and depressed, but the fact that he's like this, like Link in Skyward Sword is crying, and it's just really, really sad. And then going back to where he jumps forward into the like back in the Seal Temple and like awakens his friend, like he just feels happy, you know, he's happy to see her because he misses her, like, and like one of the most cutest scenes in the game to where we actually see both Link and Zelda holding hands, and you can tell like, oh yeah, they're meant for each other. They are pretty much meant for each other. And like, of course, their reunion is cut short because Girahim had to fucking interfere and just take her away, just so he can use her to resurrect her master, to resurrect his master, not her master, his master, Mike. Like, really? You had to ruin everything, Girahim? Unfucking believable. And like that feeling, just feel like, you know, like you just want to beat the living shit out of Girahim for like just ruining all this crap for you, dude. Like, what an asshole. But he's such a really good villain. But, and then of course we jump forward to like the end of the game, to where like, to the end of the game, like Demise is sealed away, he's defeated, you know, both Link, Groot, and Zelda actually go back to their own time, and like, and Zelda's like upset, you know, because she thinks she's not going to see Impa again, which, you know, spoiler alert, she does, because it turns out, obviously, I think we all saw it coming up. We knew that the old woman in the Seal Temple was an older version of Impa. And then at the end of the game, she talks about like, you know what, Link? I kind of want to live down here in the surface. So, what do you want to do? And like, from there on, I guess we can definitely just like say like they actually live on the surface together. And like, now, can we honestly say like they actually love each other romantically? Oh, absolutely. Like their love life is just so strong. Like their chemistry is just really, really strong. And honestly, I love the way like how Link and Zelda actually are together. Like they honestly are cute together in Skyward Sword. Like their chemistry is just fantastic. Looking at Twitch chat, Goof says, sorry, Groose, this is not the girl for you. Nah, he's not getting any bitches today. Or in Skyward Sword at all. I mean, not to mention, you know, I mean, there is the item check girl back in the bazaar shop, but do we really talk about that? Nah, we're not talking about the item check girl, Peatrice. No, absolutely not. Goof says 0 bitches. Yeah, he gets nothing. Yeah, Groose gets nothing. So moving on. We're going to now dive into the next game. The game that takes place after Skyward Sword. and that is the Minish Cap. Now, from here at the start of the game, we actually heard from Grandpa Smith, the old man who Link actually lives with. Obviously, we do learn that both Link and Zelda were, at a time, were childhood friends. And we also want to keep in mind that in this game, in the timeline, that Zelda in Minish Cap is the first Princess Zelda. She is the first princess. I mean, obviously in Skyward Sword, she is a princess to us in our hearts. But canonically speaking, Minish Cap Zelda is the first, like, royalty princess. And, like, yeah, now, can we say that Link and Zelda like each other? I could say, yeah, they do. Yeah, they really do like each other. But I'm not sure from, like, a romantic standpoint. Like, I don't see some romance kind of involved with him. I mean, yeah, I think it's cute that they actually play together at the beginning of the game, to where Link and Zelda actually go together to the Kokiri Festival over in Hyrule Castletown. And they're over here, like, talking to people and playing games, and, like, even Zelda actually wins a prize. She wins a wooden shield that she gives to Link, and, like, and you can see Link over here just, like, flexing off the shield and, like, testing it out. She just compliments him, like, wow, you look really great. And, like, and then we can jump on to the continuation of the ceremony, to where, obviously we first meet Vati. Vati was planning on touching the Kokiri blade that was like inside this big treasure chest, and obviously he shatters it, and the contents of the chest just leave, because it turns out it was just a chest full of monsters. And of course, shit definitely goes down. Link definitely does want to protect her, so obviously he fails. He does fail to protect her, because Vati uses his magic to, like, get Link out of the way, but also turn Zelda into stone, which sucks. But I do want to point something out, though. So, in the manga, I know this is not canon, this is just the original story, but in the manga, during that scene where before Zelda gets turned into stone, when Zelda gets turned into stone, we see that Link is obviously worried, and he honestly looks like he wants to bawl his eyes out. Like, he's really upset. But he just feels that determination in his heart. Is like, hey, you know what? If you tell me what to do, I'm just gonna go ahead and, like, just, like, do my best to, like, save her and get the Kokiri blade fixed. Which, honestly, that's, like, the whole point of the game in Minish Cap. I mean, obviously you work with Ezlo, but you collect both, like, the earth, wind, fire, and water elements to, like, restore the Kokiri blade. And it turns out that Link actually can use the sword's magic to de-stone people who have been turned into stone due to Vati's magic. And what really is so dark and messed up, is that around the end of the game, before the fight against Vati pretty much says, like, hey, you know, if you want to fight me, then I'll accept your challenge. But you gotta go through my minions first. But here's the catch. When you hear the bell chime 3 times, something bad's gonna happen. And by the third time, if you are not here in time, Zelda will die. Like, excuse me, what the fuck? Like, dude, that is just sick. That is just literally sick. And you just feel like, you're like, crap, like, I gotta, like, get out. I like to, like, go reach her to where Vati is. Otherwise, even though Zelda is turned to stone, Vati will pretty much said, like, if you are not here by the 3rd bell chime, she's gonna die. She's gonna die, whether you like it or not. And you can cry all you want. So, obviously, you know, Link actually beats Vati in a fight. Link uses his sword. Link uses the power of the Force Sword to de-stone Zelda and turn her back to normal. So, it's a pretty happy reunion. Now, obviously, I don't think I see them in, like, a romantic viewpoint. I feel like, to me, they're just really good friends. I think both Link and Zelda in Minish Cap are just really, Really good friends. Looking at Twitch chat, Goof says he cheated. Oh yeah, Vonti cheated. And I see Marina's here. Marina, welcome in. Welcome on in. Welcome to the show. I come in and I see he cheats. Oh wait, what did I come into? Goof says it's the beginning of Minish Cap. Let me at that rat bastard. I mean, hey, if you want to fight Vonti, you can take him all you want. Take him, he's all yours. But Marina, how are you doing today? Okay. So, moving on to the next game. This one is actually going to be really short. But we're talking about the original Four Swords on the Game Boy Advance. Honestly, there's just minimal interaction between Link and Zelda in this game. Minimal interaction. I mean, obviously, we've seen them walk into the Elemental Sanctuary. The same place to where Link in Minish Cap actually uses the elements to fuse the Kokiri blade into the Fourth Sword. And then later on in that game, Vonti breaks free from his prison, kidnaps Zelda, and pretty much says, like, you know what? I'm going to take her, and I'm going to claim Zelda to be my bride. I'm like, first off, dude, that is a child. Like, bro. Like, come on now. That's sick! That is disgusting, Vonti. Can't do that crap. Get the shit out of here. Like, she's just a little girl and you want to marry her? No way. But, obviously, throughout the game, you know, Link and the, Link and his 3 other cells actually do work together. They explore Hyrule, they defeat Vonti, and Zelda is saved. And Link, and both Link and Zelda definitely say goodbye to Link's other copies. So that pretty much ends it from there. But what I actually want to point out that actually is really cute is in the manga. Yes, I'm bringing this up. Again, I'm bringing up the manga version. Yeah, there is a manga version of the original Four Swords. So in the manga, at the very last volume of Four Swords, after Link defeat Vonti, Link and his fellow copies actually say goodbye to each other. We just see both Link and Zelda walking hand in hand into the sunset. And it's just really precious. So, I guess in a way, you know, from there, we can definitely say, like, of course, they really do like each other. I mean, obviously, we can see, like, both Link and Zelda blushing when they look at each other after he saves her. And they just decide, like, you know what? Let's just hold hands. Let's hold hands. But, yeah, that is in the manga version. Marina says, doing good, just chilling. Nice. Oh, yeah, Goof. Vonti was weird in that game. Vonti was a creepy mofo. He was a creepy bastard. Okay. So now we're going to dive into my favorite game of all time, Ocarina of Time. Now, I will say this, though. In this game, Link got a lot of girls' attention. Link had a lot of girls, like, crushing on him big time. He got a freaking Zora princess named Ruto, even though we don't talk about that. Obviously, there's Saria, the girl that he grew up with in the Kokiri Forest. And then, of course, there's the cute little farm girl, Malon, which, honestly, you know, out of all the girls, like, she was really crushing on Link big time. Like, she really, really liked him. But we're not talking about those girls. Excuse me. We're only sticking to Link and Zelda today. I mean, maybe in a future episode, maybe we can talk about Link and Malon's relationship one day. Maybe that could be a future episode. But yeah, we're talking about Link and Zelda. So, Link and Zelda had a pretty strong relationship when they first met. When they were kids. Like, you know, Link sneaks into Hyrule Castle. He interacts with the young Princess Zelda. Obviously, they do learn about each other. Zelda says, you know, she had a dream. Like, she saw, like, a boy clad in green carrying a green stone who, like, vanquishes the dark clouds, which later on turns out to be Ganondorf. And says, like, you know, like, it's like a prophecy. Like, I honestly believe that you are that boy who's going to get rid of Ganondorf. Even though all he wants is the Triforce. So, and pretty much says, like, you know what? We gotta work together. We gotta make sure, like, nothing bad happens or anything. even though she doesn't do much, I mean, obviously she writes him a letter to like let him get access to go climb and enter Death Mountain, but pretty much throughout the game, like, we honestly, kind of see her just for a little bit. Like, obviously, like, after Link collects the final spiritual stone, we see Zelda and Impa escaping from Ganondorf after Ganondorf comes to Hyrule and attacks it. And then, of course, Link gets thrust into 7 years into the future where he's an adult, he's in his grown-up body. He actually first meets Sheik, who actually claims to be the last member of the Sheikah tribe. So where Sheik actually teaches Link all these songs, like the Forest of Interlude, the Bolero of Fire, the Serenade of Water, the Nocturne of Shadow, the Prelude of Light, the Requiem of Spirit, like teaching Link all these songs just to get to places he needs to go, and then later on, like after Link acquires the medallions from all of the sages, Sheik finally reveals himself to be Princess Zelda in disguise. Like, obviously, who saw that coming? But we can definitely tell, oh, so we were with Zelda the entire time, but she was just in disguise. And I feel like, like even though Zelda was in disguise the whole time, you can honestly tell that Link and Sheik's chemistry, that Link actually wanted to protect Sheik, make sure Sheik was not harmed. Like, one example being is like in Kakariko Village, when the village is on fire and Bongo Bongo breaks out from his seal from the bottom of the well. Like, Link is actually standing right in front of Sheik, just getting ready to slash the beast, but obviously fails. But we can definitely tell, like, of course, both Link and Zelda, even though Zelda was in disguise throughout the majority of the game, they were just looking out for each other. So that shows some pretty good chemistry right there. Obviously, like when Zelda actually gets trapped into the crystal, after Zelda uses her magic to like remove her disguise, Link actually goes to Ganon's castle, saves her. Of course, obviously they escape the crumbling castle together. Zelda actually helps Link defeat Ganon, and with the help of the sages, they actually seal him away. But what's really, really sad is that the fact that they both had to say goodbye to each other. They had to say goodbye because even though Link was in stasis for 7 years, he had to go back into the past to like reclaim the 7 years that he didn't get to have. He didn't get to experience it fully. So it was pretty sad that he had to say goodbye to a girl that he really cared about. Like, it fucking sucked. I mean, but at the end of the game, we do see we see a young Link and Zelda interacting with each other once again in the castle courtyard. So that was good. So of course, indeed, that was a happy ending. Now, for me, for a standpoint alone, like, to describe Link and Zelda's chemistry in Ocarina of Time, I want to say it kind of gave off that Simba and Nala vibe. Like if you go back to the original, to the original Lion King, like Simba and Nala were always like playing together when they were young cubs, and like, of course, they hadn't seen each other for a long time after Mufasa's death. And then, of course, when they're all grown up, they finally reunited with each other. It just shows that they actually, it wasn't like, this shows that they actually do really loving each other. So I think that was really sweet. But yeah, that's how I personally describe Link and Zelda's relationship with Ocarina of Time. It just felt like the same relationship that both Simba and Nala had in The Lion King. At least that's how I felt. I mean, yeah, they show signs of them, they love talking to each other, but now, could they say that both Link and Zelda in Ocarina of Time do romantically love each other? Honestly, it could be possible, really. It really, it really could be possible that they really do like each other, in a romantic point of view. But for me to like describe their relationship, it was just like their chemistry. It just felt like it kind of felt a lot similar to what the same chemistry that both Simba and Nala had in Lion King. That's to me what it felt like. Like, obviously, you know, like being friends when they were kids and then reuniting with each other when they grew up. But one thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to bring this up again, in the manga, in the manga of Ocarina of Time. Now, I actually love their chemistry in the manga. It is absolutely precious. Looking at Twitch, that Goof said, in the manga. Yes, in the manga for Ocarina of Time, when a young version of Link actually arrives to Castle Town, you know, obviously, you know, like, he's not used to exploring, like, the outskirts of the Kokiri Forest, because he definitely learned from experiencing, like, oh, you know, we're not allowed to leave. Otherwise, this will happen. So, he's over here in Hyrule Castle Town. He sees so many people and so many stuff going on, and, like, he kind of goes crazy when he sees food. He's like, oh my god, food! And then he starts, like, chowing down and, like, practically enjoy himself. And then you see these two people's like, hey, buddy, you know, you gonna pay for that? Do you have any money? And Link's just like, money? What's that? Because the thing is, he didn't know about it, anything about it. He didn't know anything about what money was. And apparently, like, the shopkeepers actually took his Kokiri Emerald, and they actually thought, like, you know what? Why don't you use this gem to actually pay for your meal? And then we see this little girl just come out to where she says, you know what? Give the gem back. I'll pay for it. And she basically pays the shopkeeper. I'm trying to remember how much she paid them in the manga. I want to say it was probably 500 rupees for, like, Link's meal, because honestly, there's no telling how much food Link actually ate on that day. But I can recall that she definitely paid 500 rupees just to get him out of a pickle he was in. And she pretty much says, you know what? I want to do something fun today. I actually want you to play with me. And throughout the manga, you can definitely see this girl and Link actually playing together. Like, they're going through shops. They're trying on the different masks from the Happy Mask shop in the Hyrule Market. Not to mention, they even go Bongshu bowling. They go Bongshu bowling together, and when the night's over, they had to say goodbye. And then later on, and then the next day, Link is sneaking into the castle courtyard, and then he sees the girl in the dress that he played with, and he's like, oh my god, so you were Zelda the whole time. So, spoiler alert, yeah, that little girl that Link was playing with, that actually was Princess Zelda herself, just out of her princessy attire. So the fact that they actually got to play together is honestly really cute. And of course, we definitely learn about the same stuff, like, in the game. So just like, you know, like, Ganondorf wants to come to Hyrule, take the Triforce, blah blah blah, go find the spiritual stones. But what honestly is really cute is, like, before Link actually sets off on his adventure, Zelda actually places a little kiss on his cheek. And it's so freaking cute. When I first saw that, I was like, no way. I cannot believe that actually happened. It was so, so cute. Like, Link was all for it. Like, you see, like, Link getting all excited. It's like, oh my god, I got kissed by a girl. And Zelda's just like, oh. It's just so cute. It was so cute. I really did love their relationship. And then, of course, later on, like, you know, as they get older, of course, obviously, they did miss each other, because Link didn't even know that Zelda was Sheik in disguise the whole time, but they really did care about each other, like, saying, like, Zelda telling Link, you know, I waited for 7 years for you to come, but now you're here, and I missed you. And, like, obviously, I'm sure we were going to have some romance involved, but But my freaking Gerudo father, Ganondorf, had to ruin everything. Thanks, Dad, for ruining everything. Typical Ganondorf at its absolute finest. Hashtag Dad ruins everything. Thanks, Dad. But, jokes aside, like, their relationship is just so strong. But it's just so sad that even Link had to say goodbye to Zelda, so. But honestly, their relationship, it was really cute in the manga. Now, I can definitely say that, like, compared to the actual game, in the manga, I feel like that they romantically really did like each other. Like, starting off back when they were kids, and then to growing up to being an adult. Like, romantic standpoint, they really did like each other. Yeah, so that's Ocarina of Time. So now, of course, we got 3 more timelines to go, but we also got to cover Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which honestly I will get to those. And if you guys have gotten this far into the podcast, thank you for being here. And I hope you guys are enjoying your stay, even for those watching this live on Twitch during this recording. Thank you all for being here. And if you guys are new, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. Ruby helps me out. And let me know in the YouTube comments, what is your favorite Link and Zelda relationship? Now, this one is definitely going to be... This one's also is going to be short. The next thing we're going to talk about, because we're going to go into the Fallen timeline. And we're going to start off with A Link to the Past. Now, in this game, in Link to the Past, there is not much... Honestly, there's not much interaction involved between Link and Zelda. Like, the only time they, like, talk is, like... Well, for starters, we learn about, at the beginning of the game, they're like... You know, Zelda speaks to Link telepathically in his sleep, saying, like... Hey, you know, I'm in a dungeon in Hyrule Castle. There's this sorcerer named Aghanim who's kidnapping girls and maidens, so I need you to come save me. So obviously Link storms off to Hyrule Castle. He definitely saves Zelda. He does save Zelda, of course, but then later on, throughout the game, like sometime after Link gets to Master Sword, she is taken by Aghanim. Excuse me, she's taken by Aghanim. And then, but honestly, he does save the other maidens. He saves the other maidens. He rescues Princess Zelda, saying, like, okay, since now that you rescued me, now all you gotta do is, like, go climb Death Mountain and just defeat Ganon. Pretty much. Pretty much defeat Ganon. Okay. What's if we play... Let's go ahead and add another song, shall we? Let's add this one for Skyward Sword. This is a good one. Another Skyward romantic song. Okay. So anyway, so at the end of Link to the Past, obviously we don't see them talking that much. No, I honestly can't say that there's no romantic chemistry between Link and Zelda in A Link to the Past. But I'm gonna bring this up now, but in the manga, I don't think I'm ever gonna get tired of saying that through this episode. In the manga, so after Link actually saves Zelda, you know, like, obviously it's raining outside in Hyrule just like in the game. And what I think was really sweet is that Link actually gives her the hood that he was wearing to kind of like protect her from the rain. And he's like, hey, you know, it must be really, you know, it's getting cold outside. You should put this on. And she compliments this, saying like, thank you. It's really warm. And Link's just over here just blushing about the idea. Like, it's just so cute. And then at the end of the manga, we definitely see like Link and Zelda actually having eating apples together. Because when Link placed the wish on the Triforce, not only did he want Hyrule to be restored to peace, but in the manga, he actually wanted to have his own his own orchard. He wanted to have his own orchard in Hyrule, which of course, he ended up getting his wish. And at the end of the manga, you just see both Link and Zelda just enjoying some apples together. So, that's really cute. It's really, really cute. And then one more thing I definitely do want to talk about is this little comic right here. It was so this little comic based on A Link to the Past as well. This is an official Nintendo Power comic. Obviously, there is some romance involved between Link and Zelda in this comic version of A Link to the Past, but of course, obviously, they don't get to see each other that much. But from here, Link actually does have a major crush on Zelda, so he definitely wants to be there for her. So that is honestly is very cute. And then Link, looking at Twitch now, we see Spider coming in. Spider, welcome in, buddy. How are you doing today? Welcome on into the podcast. Okay. So now that we're done with A Link to the Past, now we're going to move on to the next game, Link's Awakening. Now, I want to say this though, even though Zelda is not in obviously Zelda is not in this game, but she is mentioned. She is mentioned. So after Marin actually finds Link washed up on the beach, Link is definitely brought into Marin's home. He looks at he starts feeling all puzzled, being like, wait, where am I? Like, where is this? What is that? And then he looks at Marin, and the first thing he says is, Zelda? And where obviously Marin says, like, no, I'm not her. Now, I feel like, so I kind of have a vision standpoint as to why he actually said that. So obviously, spoiler alert, the entire world of Koholint Island, like, all the characters and monsters and people that Link actually meets on Koholint Island, they're all a dream. It's all just a dream. And I feel like that obviously Marin is definitely like a girl from Link's dreams, to where he's like, like her face, like Marin's face definitely represents Zelda. So that's probably why he was like, Zelda? But it's just a different girl, like with red hair, being an islander and all that. So to me, it was kind of like Link's dream girl, to where she looks like Zelda, but it's just an entirely different person. So that can definitely explain why he would definitely question at the beginning, like, Zelda? Even though obviously it's not her. So yeah, Zelda is obviously not in Link's Awakening, but she is mentioned because of Link. Now the next pair of games, and I mean pair, is because we are talking about the Oracle titles. Oracle Seasons and Oracle of Ages. So Zelda actually is in this game, but that's only if you actually link the games together, which of course by doing that is like you have to beat one of the games. You have to complete one of the games. Honestly, it doesn't matter the order. You can do Seasons and then Ages to Seasons. It honestly doesn't matter. So later on, of course, obviously, Link actually learns from Impa, like, hey, Zelda's actually here. She wants to learn about the hero who's been going to both different lands of Holodrum and Labyrinth, so we definitely want to, learn about them and all. Excuse me. So, of course, there's not much interaction with Link and Zelda in the Oracle games. I mean, obviously, Link saves her from this mini dungeon. And then, of course, later on, we find out that she gets kidnapped by Twinrova. She gets kidnapped by Twinrova because Twinrova actually wants to use her as a sacrifice to actually fully resurrect Ganon. To which, in the end, obviously, Twinrova fails. The ceremony to resurrect Ganon by using Zelda fails. And, of course, Link and Twinrova actually lock into combat. So after Twinrova is defeated, since obviously they couldn't use Zelda to actually resurrect their fallen master, instead of sacrificing Zelda, Twinrova had to sacrifice themselves in order to summon Ganon. Which, of course, obviously, Ganon in this game is just a brainless monster. He is definitely confirmed to be a brainless monster, but at the end of the game, which is really sweet, we actually do see Zelda actually giving a little kiss to Link's cheek. And you can just see her, just giggling after she kisses him, and, Link's all blushing. You see all these hearts just floating above his head. So it's really, really sweet. It's really, really sweet. Now, all right. So I'm saying this again, but in the manga, yes, I'm saying this again. In the manga, in the manga, there is like some interaction towards them. I mean, obviously Link does save the day. I mean, Link actually does not get a kiss from Zelda, but right after like, right after Link actually defeats Ganon in this game in the manga, you know, she definitely asks like, you know, where's my hero at? Like she doesn't like she definitely wants to like fake Link, but the Link is obviously gone and like just goes off on his adventure. So that is definitely about Oracle games. I like how looking at Twitch, Goofs is laughing as every time I say in the manga. In the manga. But yeah, looking at Twitch, yeah, Spider, I actually wanted to bring up the manga as well for some of the games because they also have some romantic chemistry in them. So now, next thing I want to talk about. So the next game I do want to bring up. Now, keep in mind, this is actually it's about to be spoilers for Echoes of Wisdom. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, if you do not wish to be spoiled, you're more than welcome to skip to the next part and just scroll throughout the video until you hear me talk about the next game, which will be Link Between Worlds. But if you have already, if you have played Link Echoes of Wisdom, then great. But also anybody in Twitch chat, if you do not wish to be spoiled for Echoes of Wisdom, you definitely are welcome to like, I guess mute me or something. I don't know. I don't know if I should say that, but I definitely will let y'all know in the chat. Actually, you know what, Goof? Goof, you can do me a favor. If you can type in the chat when I'm done talking about Echoes of Wisdom. Like once you see me give a thumbs up, that's your sign. That's your cue to like just put in the chat to let everyone know like I'm done bringing up Echoes of Wisdom. Thank you, Goof. So anyway. So in Echoes of Wisdom, of course, obviously, Zelda gets kidnapped by Ganon. Link definitely does, in a way, kind of saves her. I mean, he definitely shoots his arrow to, like, kind of, like, break the crystal that she's trapped in. And Link definitely... And then Link actually ends up falling into the rift to where Zelda is practically on her own. And Zelda's kind of, you know, and, like, under, like, the influence of the rift, you know, Zelda's labeled as this vigilante, thinking like, oh, you know, like Zelda's a criminal, and it's all because of her that Link is gone. But throughout the game, she definitely does get to learn about Link. Like, she definitely learns about Link. Like, she gets to visit the village that he's from, which is Southern Village. She learns about like how Link is the hero of Hyrule and definitely is the one who definitely will defeat Ganon and all that stuff. But she does get to learn about him. Now, this is where the spoiler territory comes in. So, throughout the end of the game, after Zelda visits almost every place to like eradicate the rifts in Hyrule, Zelda finally goes to the last place, to like the core, to where all the rifts are like spreading. They're like all spreading. And from there, and deep within the rift, we find out that Link has been trapped the whole time. Link has been trapped, so this time, she ends up saving him. And together, they actually work to defeat the final boss. So obviously, I won't say the final boss's name due to spoilers. But they honestly do end up teaming up together to not only explore the rift, but to defeat the final boss and to restore peace to Hyrule once again. So, now can we say there's some romantic chemistry involved in them? Not much. Not really. Because in Echoes of Wisdom, they barely know each other. Like, they barely know each other. Like Zelda doesn't know a thing about him. I mean, she learns about him, but they don't know each other, like, quite well. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to be said for Echoes of Wisdom. So, yeah. Marina's like, oh, looking at Twitch. Oh, yeah. My time, baby. Okay. So, anyway. Let's move on to our next game in the Valentine timeline. We're going to talk about A Link Between Worlds. So, Link actually does meets Princess Zelda in Hyrule Castle. To where this Link actually warns Princess Zelda about Yuga. About Yuga coming into town and using his magic to turn everyone into paintings. So Zelda's like, you know what? I'm going to entrust you with this pendant. You know, I advise you to go explore Hyrule, go collect the others, and then come back and find me, and I'll help you get rid of the problem. So obviously, after Link collects all the pendants and he obtains the Master Sword, we see that, of course, Hyrule Castle is surrounded by this massive magical barrier that was casted by Yuga. And it turns out that Yuga uses magic to trap Zelda into a painting. To where, of course, Link actually does end up defeating him once again, because this wasn't the first time they fought. This was their second confrontation. So, of course, obviously, Yuga definitely does makes his getaway. But not only does he use the power of, like, all the sages that were trapped within paintings, but he uses Zelda to actually bring back Ganon, fully resurrecting him and merging with Ganon to become Yuga Ganon. But, obviously, like, later on, jumping forward to, like, the end of the game, Link honestly defeats him, but Zelda, trapped within the painting, actually gives Link the light arrows in order to vanquish Yuga Ganon. But not only does, of course, does Link actually save Zelda from having her trapped within the painting, but along with the help of Ravio, she's able to reason with Hilda, saying something like, oh, the reason why we wanted to take your Triforce is because we lost our Triforce, like, a long time ago. So the only way to get our Triforce back was to take yours. And Zelda and Ravio are trying to reason with Princess Hilda, saying like, hey, this isn't the right way, this isn't good for the Kingdom of Lorule. So why don't we just keep trying and find a different way to get Lorule's Triforce back? So of course, obviously, Hilda is definitely, is reminded of the mistake that she's doing. Obviously, she sends Link and Zelda back to Hyrule, and when Link and Zelda get back home, they go to the Sacred Realm, they touch the Triforce, and they place a wish on it to have Lorule's Triforce actually restored, to which the Triforce in Lorule actually does come back. So that's good. Now, can we say that both Link and Zelda are romantically involved with each other in Link Between Worlds? No, not really. Because the thing is, they just don't see each other. They barely talk each other much. I think at the end of the day, they're just friends. They honestly they're just friends in Link Between Worlds. They're just friends. Also looking at Twitch chat, thank you, Goof, for the reminder about Echoes of Wisdom. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the next game, Triforce Heroes. So obviously Zelda is not involved in here, so we'll skip this one. But I can definitely say that the Princess of Hytopia, which of course if anybody does not know, in Triforce Heroes, Link explores this kingdom called Hytopia, which is like the kingdom of fashion, where everybody just talks about fashion. They're all fashionable and stuff like that. Their princess, Styla, yeah, that's actually their princess's name, Styla. That's a really clever name, Nintendo. Totally 10 out of 10. But at the end of the game, like after Link defeats Lady Maud, Styla actually admits to Link that she thinks he's kind of cute. I mean, that's pretty much all we know. But no involvement with Zelda because she's not there. She's not there, of course. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Zelda 1, the very first Zelda on the NES. So, honestly, I can't say there's no romantic chemistry in the very first Zelda game from 86 back in the NES, because, you know, the only time that Link and Zelda get to talk to each other is when he ends up saving her from Ganon. I mean, obviously, we learn about Link to where, you know, Impa definitely goes around Hyrule to, like, find a hero who would vanquish Ganon. And Link is just this kid who just came out of nowhere. I mean, it pretty much kind of says that in the... I think it says that in the game manual for Zelda NES, where it's like, to where Link was just this boy who just came out of nowhere. Wait, we don't know, what part of Hyrule he came from? He just came out of nowhere. He's like, oh, I'm here, suddenly. But obviously, you know, he definitely collects the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom. He defeats Ganon. And of course, they definitely do, both Link and Zelda definitely do acquire the Triforce of Power from Ganon after Ganon's defeat. So, no romantic chemistry involved in Zelda 1. Now, the last game of the Zelda timeline being The Adventure of Link. Obviously, this is the same Link for Zelda 1. So, this one definitely is a little bit different. Because to kind of like summarize a long story short, so after the King of Hyrule passes away, because he was the one who actually hid the Triforce of Courage, his son, the Prince of Hyrule, becomes the new heir to the throne. Yeah, this is the first Zelda game to where we actually learn that Zelda has a brother. And not only is, like, the Prince of Hyrule is, like, so obsessed with power, but he has, like, this wizard, this mysterious wizard who comes out of nowhere and, like, just, like, honestly, just, like, I guess maybe possesses him, but definitely wants to get rid of his sister, Princess Zelda. Which, honestly, this is not the same Princess Zelda from Zelda 1. This is an entirely different Zelda. So, the Princess Zelda in Zelda 2 is actually, I want to say she's probably the older or the younger sister to the Princess Zelda in the first Zelda game. If that makes sense. So after this mysterious wizard casts a spell on this Princess Zelda, he just dies. He just dies after he uses his magic to put Zelda to sleep. This wizard is dead. Weird. But, of course, the Prince of Hyrule just, you know, realizes, like, oh my god, like, what have I done? This is crazy. You know, my sister's asleep. So, Impa obviously is the one who tasks Link to, like, go to the different palaces and stuff like that. Obviously, he obtains the Triforce of Courage and uses the power of the Triforce to wake up Zelda from her sleep. And at the end of the game, even though we see, like, the curtains falling at the end, we definitely see Zelda pulling Link, which honestly a lot of people say that they actually are legit kissing, so I guess you can say, yeah, there's a little bit of romantic side to there. Look at that Twitch chat. Marina says, Link popping out of nowhere like, hello, I've been born. Brownie points anyone who gets the reference, oh my god. An ASDF movie reference. Marina says, okay, but side note, that is a weak-ass wizard if he dies that easily. Yeah, that's literally all that happened. This wizard is just dead. He's just straight up dead. He's dead. Like, that's just crazy. That is a weak-ass wizard. Okay. So now, we're going to move on to the next time. We're going to move on to the other games. And now we gotta find the... Excuse me, I gotta get my next song pulled up. There we go. This is what I wanted. Okay. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna be diving into the child timeline. We're diving into the child timeline. Now we're going to talk about Majora's Mask. Now, obviously we know the Hero of Time does not speak with Zelda throughout the majority of the game, but he does have a vision about her. Like, after, he acquires the Ocarina of Time that was stolen by the Skull Kid. Like, he has, like, this vision of her to where it kind of, like, continues off from, like, the ending of Ocarina of Time to where Link is definitely seen in the castle courtyard to where from there he's warning Princess Zelda that Ganondorf is coming to Hyrule, and she pretty much entrusts him with the Ocarina of Time. But one of the dialogue that she says in Link's vision, like in his little dream, to where she says, like, I know we just met, but I feel like I've known you for a long time, and I always will never forget the carefree days that we spent in Hyrule together. Which, I think that's actually is really, really sweet and all. And of course, obviously, before Link heads off to Termina to go find his lost friend, she's the one who definitely teaches him the Song of Time and says, ask for the aid of the Goddess of Time. May the Goddess of Time actually protect you in your travels. So if you need help, play the Song of Time. The Goddess of Time will help you. She will. And from there, that's pretty much it with Majora's Mask. That's pretty much it. Now, Twilight Princess. So, of course, obviously, Link does first learn about her from Russell back in Ordon Village, because he's been tasked to, from the mayor to deliver a sword to Hyrule Castle, and to where Russell's like, yeah, I've been to Hyrule before. I've done this and that. And he says, hey, good luck out there going to go meet Zelda. To go deliver the sword. And hey, if you get lucky, you might meet Princess Zelda. Which, of course, later on, obviously, he kind of does get lucky meeting Zelda. Because, sometime later after he gets transformed into a wolf, he first meets Midna, and their chemistry is kind of off to a good start, in a way. Obviously, Link and Midna actually both meet Zelda. But their chat is definitely cut short, because they're saying, hey, the guard's coming, so you need to, get out of here. Just get out of here. But the next time that they actually meet is when Midna is in her weakened state. Midna is very weak, and this is around the scene to where during Midna's lament, Midna is completely weak. She tells Link as a wolf, saying hey, take me to Zelda, only she can help me. So yeah, obviously they go back to the spot where Zelda was in her room. She definitely uses her magic to help a weakened Midna, and Midna's like Link, stop her. And from there she just disappears. She just suddenly disappears, and Midna's okay. But throughout the end of the game, they only have both Link and Zelda kind of have a little bit of time to talk. They honestly just talk just a little bit. Because honestly, she's the one who definitely helps Link fight Ganondorf, especially during the horseback fight, to where she's firing light arrows at him. But at the end of the game, it's just oh yeah, he does, yeah, Zelda's okay. But the one that he was worried about the most was Midna, and we all know Link's fate when he first saw Midna in her true form. But in all honesty, can we say that both Link and Zelda had romantic chemistry in Twilight Princess? Absolutely not. Honestly, they're just two people who barely knew each other. And to me, I feel like that Twilight Princess was mostly Link and Midna's relationship. Honestly, you can tell that they were, they really do cared about each other. Now, in the manga, Not much romantic chemistry is involved between Link and Zelda in the manga of Twilight Princess, but I don't know why. I'm always laughing every time I see Goof laugh in the chat every time I say, in the manga. But in the manga, there's not much romantic chemistry involved with Link and Zelda in the Twilight Princess manga. But there is a very, very hardcore romance between Link and Midna in the manga. To where, legit, they actually kiss. Well, technically, in one of the volumes, Link actually kisses Midna on the cheek. And at the end, to where Midna actually goes back to the Twilight Realm, she actually kisses Link goodbye on the lips. They actually legit kiss, but it's only for like a short while. So you can tell that they really did like each other, both Link and Midna. But with Zelda, there's not much romantic chemistry involved. I'm looking at Twitch chat and Goose is like, damn! Okay, so now we're moving on to the last game in the Fallen timeline. I'm sorry, no, Child timeline. Why did I say Fallen? We're already done with that. Child timeline. And that is Four Swords Adventures. So, obviously not much going on here. I mean, obviously, we do see Link and Zelda talking to each other. In Hyrule, Link actually watches this little ceremony to where Zelda and the maidens actually open this portal. Of course, you know, the ceremony is cut short when Shadow Link actually invades the place they're in, thus trapping all the maidens and Zelda herself in crystals, to where Link actually goes after her, and with the help of his clones, you know, obviously they defeat Shadow Link for good. They also defeat Vati, to where the Links and Zelda actually escape from Vati's castle. But Zelda also plays a big role. Zelda actually plays a big role in the final boss against Ganon, to where she actually uses her magic to help seal Ganon away, to where both the Links, Zelda, and the maidens use their magic to seal Ganon away. But as far as like romance goes, there's no romance involved between Link and Zelda in Four Swords Adventures, so none of that is present here. So now finally, before we actually get to the last two games, being Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, now we are now diving into the adult timeline. We're talking about the adult timeline. The adult timeline now with Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. Why the fudge did I say Twilight Princess? I meant to say Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks being the last one. Okay. Here we go. Let's play this one. Okay, we're gonna loop this. So we are talking about the adult timeline. Okay. So now. So Wind Waker. So obviously, of course, it starts off with both not as Zelda, but as Zelda's alter ego, being Tetra. Obviously, they first meet in the woods. Back on Link's hometown, being Outset Island. Of course, you know, obviously Link definitely does want to go on a quest with her to go find his sister who's been kidnapped. And she's just looking at him just like, are you crazy? Like, do you not realize that we are pirates? So, obviously they do team up as soon as they get to the Forsaken Fortress, and then from there, of course, you know, Link gets yeeted by the Helmrock King. And he's practically on his own until he meets the King of Red Lions. But later, after he acquires, I want to say around the, this is before he's on his search to find the last pearl, Neighbor's Pearl. When he learns from Quill on Greyfish Island, after it was attacked by Ganondorf, that the pirates are on Windfall Island, and obviously Link finds out they're stealing all of the bombs from the bomb shop at Windfall Island, and he sees Tetra and the pirates there. But Also, I just want to add that it actually is really cute that Tetra is always like winking at him. Like she's always winking at him. So honestly, I think it's really cute that she constantly just winks at him a lot. Now I definitely do want to ask something else. I want to add something. This little piece of dialogue in Wind Waker. So later on after the game, like after you actually get bombs for the first time. So if you actually go to one of Beetle's shop ships, and you see bombs in his stock, Beetle actually, after Beetle says like, hey, I'm selling bombs now and stuff like that. Now, this is the piece of content I actually want, this dialogue I actually want to talk about, that Beetle actually says to Link, to where he's like, by the way, are you familiar with that cute little pirate girl? Your face is all red, so I can definitely see why. And Beetle actually is laughing at Link, and the fact that in the dialogue it says like your face just shows it, like your face is all red. And I want to say I think that is so cute that Link legit has a crush on Tetra. Because even though Beetle confirms, he's like, hey, do you know that pirate girl? And then Link's just like, I guess from Link's point of view, he's just like blushing so hard, like, okay. So Link has a crush on a cute little pirate girl. I mean, they're really cute. I really do love Link and Tetra. But anyway, so of course, after Link definitely learns that Tetra is Zelda, obviously, of course, Zelda feels bad that she actually put him in danger with Link's sister being kidnapped, and like Ganondorf finally discovering that Tetra has been Zelda the whole time. Of course, Link kind of makes that face like, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. But of course, there's not much interaction with both Link and Zelda, because Link is definitely going off to like restore the Master Sword to its true potential, finding the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Courage that has been sunken within the waters of the Great Sea. And later on, of course, Zelda gets taken away by Ganondorf. Link actually defeats Puppet Ganon. But also, I really do love the fact that both Link and Zelda actually do team up together fighting Ganondorf. Like, honestly, the fight against Ganondorf in Wind Waker is one of the most iconic fights throughout the entire series. It's just really, really good. The fact that she actually shoots light arrows while Link is just like just swinging his sword at him. And of course, they actually go back to the surface together. Zelda turns back into Tetra, and together with the pirates, they set off to sail for new land, for a new adventure to seek. Looking at Twitch chat, I'm seeing Goof say no. Goofy, why are you saying no? No to what? What are you saying no for? No to what? I'm really concerned. Why are you saying no? So now, Goof says he forgot. No, that's fair. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the next game. We're going to talk about Phantom Hourglass. This is the next Zelda game we are going to talk about. It's Phantom Hourglass, the sequel to Wind Waker. Now, of course, Link and Zelda, obviously, Link and Tetra are sailing the seas together, and as soon as they discover the ghost ship, Tetra's the one to get on board first, and then later on, she ends up into the world of the Ocean King, and Link definitely ends up in that same world with her. So, pretty much the majority of the quest is like, Link just wants to find Tetra and to bring her back home. And later on, we honestly do find out, and I think this actually is in the ghost ship, we find out that Tetra has been turned into stone. And Link definitely wants to find a way to get her back and to turn her back to normal. So, later on throughout the game, after Tetra is turned back to normal, Tetra comments saying like, Link, I honestly can't thank you enough for like what you've done and stuff like that. I saw everything as I was turned into stone, so I thank you. And I think they were just about to get ready to hold hands at some point, but of course the main antagonist, Bellum, fucking ruins everything. Really ruins everything. Like, thank you, Bellum. And then after Bellum is defeated, both Link and Tetra actually go back to their own world, and they tell the pirates about their story. Like, we've been gone for such a long time and all, and Mako, the pirate with the glasses, pretty much says like, "What are you talking about? You guys haven't been gone for that long. It's only been 10 minutes." And Tetra's here just like yelling at the pirates like, it's like, "Are you crazy? Link had to save me. We've done this and that and blah blah blah. Like, we've done all of that, so you can't tell me that actually only took 10 minutes." So she's over here losing her mind and all that stuff. Now from Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, can we say that there was a little bit of romantic chemistry involved? I want to say, yeah, there was some romantic chemistry between, mostly with Link and Tetra. Not around the time where, maybe just a little bit when Tetra was Zelda, but I feel like there was more romantic, a little bit of some chemistry to where, Link and Tetra actually did like each other. The fact that Tetra was always winking at him, the comment that Beetle says in the shop, in one of his shops, saying Link's, like, after Beetle brings up Tetra, saying like, "Oh, that cute pirate girl, do you know her? Your face is all red, so it's completely showing it." So it kind of shows like, yeah, they do like each other. Looking at Twitch chat, I see Sora has a chat. Welcome in, Sora. How you doing today? And he says, "Wow, thank you, Bellum, you piece of crap demon thing." He is a demon thing. So now, this is going to be the last time you're going to hear me say this, but in the manga, also, even though it has been a long time since I've actually have read the Phantom Hourglass manga, but in the manga, honestly, I can just say that Tetra's personality is just, obviously, like, the chemistry that she has with Link is just the same thing, just like in the game. So, yeah, I can say they really do just like each other. They do like each other. So now we're going to move on to the last game in the adult timeline. And since Sora is here in the Twitch chat, we get to talk about his favorite 2D Zelda game that involves Link and Zelda's chemistry, and that is Spirit Tracks. Now, I want to say, this relationship that they do have together is so precious. It is absolutely precious. The chemistry that both Link and Zelda have in Spirit Tracks. So, obviously, we do learn that Link is he's a certified engineer throughout the Kingdom of Hyrule. He goes to Hyrule Castle to attend the engineer's ceremony, to where he will receive his certificate from Princess Zelda. And when Link enters the throne room, you can see him. He's like on his knees, bowing and showing some respect. But when he first sees Zelda, like, you can see in the cutscene that his cheeks are like, they're so pink, like he's like blushing so hard. And I want to say that's one of the cutest things he's ever done. It's really cute. So to him, it's like, oh my god, she's really cute. And pretty much after the ceremony, it's just like she pretty much like gives Link a letter, like whispering in his ear, saying like, "Here, take this letter. It's a map to my room. Meet me in my room." Oh. You want him to meet you in your room, you say? Oh my. We're going a bit fast there. But later on throughout the game, after Burn and Chancellor Cole, I fucking can't stand Chancellor Cole. I hate him. I hate that little piece of crap. Yeah, fuck Chancellor Cole. I can't stand. I honestly cannot stand him. I hate him so much. But so after Byrne and Chancellor Cole separate Zelda's spirit from her body, because they actually want to give Zelda's body, make it as a vessel for the Demon King Malladus, who broke free from his prison. Link and Zelda actually do team up together, so where Link can actually interact with Zelda's spirit, where like a few other people throughout Hyrule can't see her. I mean, obviously, Anjean, one of the Locomo sages within the Tower of Spirits, can see her. But I think it's really cool that both Link and Zelda actually do get to team up together. Which, honestly, keep in mind, before Echoes of Wisdom was a thing, this actually was the first mainline Zelda game to where Princess Zelda herself was playable. To where she can actually use Phantom Armor to, like, attack and, like, help Link on his quest. So, I think it's really cool, of course, you know, that both Link and Zelda actually got to spend a lot of time together. They even got to fight the Demon King Malladus together, even after Zelda actually gets her body back. Like, literally together, they hold, like, the Locomo sword together, and they literally, like, take the sword and, like, stab Malladus' skull with the sword together. Like, damn. But, and I think it's really cool, and I think it's really sweet that at the end of the game, we see both Link and Zelda legit holding hands. For anyone who has played Spirit Tracks, you definitely know about the hand-holding scene to where, you know, everything is fine. Hyrule, the Kingdom of Hyrule is restored to peace. So, yeah, they're holding hands. So you can tell, like, their chemistry was at a really great start from the time that they spent together. Like, yeah, I can say they really did, like, both Link and Zelda in Spirit Tracks actually legit really did like each other. They really did. So that's pretty good. Okay. Alright, so now... Okay, so next thing I actually want to do, the last two games that I actually do want to talk about is, of course, now we are going to move on to the two 3D Switch titles, the last two games for the timeline. Okay, not this one. Not the one I was looking for. Okay. I want to see this. That one. Okay, that's the one I was looking for. The Terrico fame from Age of Calamity. Okay, so now I want to talk about Link and Zelda's relationship in Breath of the Wild. We're talking about Breath of the Wild now, y'all. So here we go. The last two games. Let's get into it, y'all. Here we go. So, Link and Zelda's relationship in Breath of the Wild is one of the most amazing relationships throughout the series. Definitely really close to the relationship that Link and Zelda had in Skyward Sword. But Link and Zelda's relationship definitely was a little bit bumpy from the start. Like, and this definitely happened around the time to where Link actually becomes an appointed knight for the Kingdom of Hyrule, to where he definitely is served to protect Princess Zelda. And we definitely learn more about this in Zelda's diary in Zelda's room back in Hyrule Castle, to where you can actually read it yourself in Breath of the Wild. But to me, we definitely see a lot more of their chemistry in the memories that we actually get to experience in Breath of the Wild. One of them being is at one of the shrines where Link actually follows Zelda, and Zelda's kind of getting tired of his crap, you know, with him just like following her around, and she's like, it's like, regardless of what my father the king says, I am questioning him and fine. So please, you need to go back to the castle and tell my father that I'm fine. And to the point to where she yells at him, where she's like, stop following me. I'm like, okay. but um but in Zelda's diary, she admits that she honestly feels bad for scolding Link, to where, she feels bad because honestly all Link was doing was just doing his job. When he was taking on his role as the appointed knight, like he was supposed to be doing. And one part of him actually, like, protecting Zelda was in one of the memories in the desert, to where Zelda is getting attacked by she's being chased by two members of the Yiga clan. And before she's about to get stricken down, Link pretty much interferes and scares him off. And from there, it's like she realizes, like, okay, so I understand what his whole purpose is doing. It's like Link is always just here to just protect me. And then from there, she's just, she becomes more nicer to him. Like, even admitting, like, in this, like, saying in the memories, like, like, you may be reckless sometimes when you fight, so you definitely need to be watching yourself. And, like, even commenting on his swordsman skills, where she's like, you definitely mirror your father. Which, of course, that is the only time we get to learn about Link actually having a dad. I mean, obviously we don't know who he is, but we definitely do get to learn about Link's father. But, of course, throughout the memories, Link and Zelda definitely do spend a lot of time together exploring Hyrule, such as visiting the different springs, and, like, Zelda telling Link's like, oh, I'm gonna go visit this spring on my 17th birthday. But honestly, in Breath of the Wild, like, Zelda definitely has been through a lot. And one of the memories that's definitely is my absolute favorite, and I feel like this definitely applies to a lot of people who have played through Breath of the Wild, is the scene where it's raining. To where, like, Link and Zelda are weak, they're very tired, and you just see Zelda bawling her eyes out, to where she's like, I'm an absolute failure. I spent my whole life just being a scholar and doing researching, when I should have been focusing more on my training, like my father said. Everyone's dead, including my own father, and it's all my fault, so I'm just a failure. And, of course, in that scene, Link definitely feels sorry for her, that he literally just, he comforts her and he hugs her, just to reassure her that everything's going to be okay. But now there is a scene that definitely is very, very important. Actually, there is two of them. There's two scenes. One of the scenes is where Link actually dies. And this is definitely the confrontation between one of the Guardians. Link is, like, completely beat up. He's weak. The Master Sword is completely damaged, and Link is in no capacity to fight whatsoever. Like, he can't do it. Like, he's just, like, he's weak, he's tired, he just can't do it anymore. And knowing this, that Zelda had a hard time trying to, like, awaken her powers, the moment to where she stands in front of Link to make sure that the Guardians don't, like, blast Link away with their lasers. Like, to me, that is obviously where Zelda's powers comes in, because we all know what the real reason was that Zelda's powers was awakened. It was love. Love was the power that got Zelda to fully awaken her powers. And right after that Guardian was defeated, Link is dead. Link is straight up dead, and of course, in order to, like, to bring him back, she definitely, seals him in the Shrine of the Resurrection, to where he'd be put to sleep for 100 years, but he will lose his memories. But, of course, obviously at the end of Breath of the Wild, Link obviously saves her from Calamity Ganon, and then she asks him at the end, like, do you remember me? Which I'm sure he probably does, but... And then at the end of the game, we see all these flower petals floating by. And I'm trying to remember who said it, but there is a character in Breath of the Wild. I don't remember who says it, but there's a character who says that they say, like, if two lovers are together and they see a bunch of flower petals floating nearby and close to each other, that is just a strong symbolism that these two are in love with each other. So, and we definitely see that at the end of the game, to where Link and Zelda are walking off into the distance and all these flower petals are just floating nearby. So that definitely just tells you, like, they really do like each other, like, a lot. They really do. So, and to me, like, Link and Zelda's relationship is just so strong in Breath of the Wild. It's really, really strong. And it definitely is one of my favorite to definitely know about when it comes to, like, in a romantic point of view. So, Link and Zelda in Breath of the Wild is definitely a really strong relationship. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we finally come down to the last mainline game. We're talking about Tears of the Kingdom. We're going into Tears of the Kingdom territory, baby. So, Tears of the Kingdom. So, it's like a few years after the events of Breath of the Wild, and we learned that Link and Zelda actually have a house. They actually have a house together in Hateno Village. So, obviously, we can say that definitely they are lovers, because one thing I also want to bring up from Breath of the Wild is one of the songs that is actually played. One of the songs is actually played by Cass, the Rito with the accordion. So, in Cass's final song, in the lyrics, it says that Cass's teacher was in love with Princess Zelda, but Princess Zelda did not return her feelings to Cass's teacher, as she only had eyes for her appointed knight, which obviously the appointed knight, of course, is Link. So that definitely shows, like, of course, you know, to add on to Breath of the Wild, that they actually really did love each other. Like, she really loved him. She really did love Link. Because honestly, you know, if it wasn't for her love for Link, her powers would have not been reawakened. And even, like, in one of the scenes in Breath of the Wild, to where she takes the Master Sword back to the Korok Forest, you know, she makes sure it gets fully healed. Excuse me. She tells the Deku Tree, please relay this message to Link. Tell him this. And then the Deku Tree pretty much cuts her off and says, like, you know, words are much more said to be heard through your voice instead of me just saying it. To which, honestly, she agrees. But going back to Tears of the Kingdom, Link and Zelda definitely do have, like, their own place together. So, in a way, they're pretty much living together. I mean, obviously, they don't get to see each other, but in a different time, you know, Rauru and King Rauru and Queen Sonia, they do learn about Link. You know, they do learn about him, and they learn about, like, how, like, you know, like, oh, he's gonna be this hero that Zelda was talking about. Excuse me, to where she is gonna be the one where he's gonna be the one who's going to defeat Ganondorf in a fight. So she definitely does bring him up to Rauru and Sonia. And that's where even Ganondorf actually learns about Link, is because of Rauru. But honestly, what really broke my heart, and I know there's a lot for those who have played Tears of the Kingdom. Spoiler alert, by the way. In Tears of the Kingdom, Zelda actually swallows one of the sacred stones, and she turns herself into a dragon. And it kind of goes back to what Minoru said, Raguru's sister, to where she says, for those who actually swallow these sacred stones, it would be complicated for them to return back to normal. And it really did break my heart to when we saw Zelda get turned into a light dragon. But honestly, you know, right after Ganondorf actually turns himself into a demon dragon, you know, we see Link actually riding on Zelda as he's fighting him. And one of the most coolest scenes in Tears of the Kingdom And they did not have Nintendo. They did not have to do this. So right after Link gets his arm back, the spirit of Rauru and Sonia use their powers to restore Zelda back to normal, to her true self. And you see like Link and Zelda like falling in the skies, and Zelda's plummeting down Hyrule so fast, and Link is floating, and like it gives me like this segment to where it's like, you know, you have to dive in and catch her to where he does. And what I think was really sweet is at the end of the game to where right when we're about to plunge into a lake, you see like Link actually cupping her head like before they dive into the water just to make sure she's okay. So, and then of course obviously he carries her out of the water, so that was really sweet. But at the end of the game we can see that she was really happy to see Link again. But can we definitely say that both Link and Zelda in Tears of the Kingdom, like in Breath of the Wild, had romantic feelings for each other? Yeah, they did. Honestly, I do believe it that they do. And it's because of Breath of the Wild that in Tears of the Kingdom, both Link and Zelda actually have romantic feelings for each other, thanks to Breath of the Wild. So yeah, that is pretty much every single mainline Zelda game. Now, for spin-off titles like Hyrule Warriors and Age of Calamity, yeah, I guess you can say there's kind of a way to where, yeah, they kind of do like each other. And I definitely will say this right now. I'm going to add on to this, because somebody will come at me if I don't bring this up. But in Wand of Gamelon and in freaking Wand of Gamelon and in the Faces of Evil, Link actually does have a crush on Zelda. So he's like, how about a kiss for luck? And even after he says it, he's like, oh, I guess that deserves a kiss, huh? To where obviously she says no. Listen, I had to bring it up at some point. I had to bring it up because I'm sure somebody in the YouTube comments are going to be like, why didn't you bring up the CDI games? So, I did it. There you go. So yeah, that is pretty much Link and Zelda's relationship in every single Zelda game. So let me know in the YouTube comments, what is your favorite Link and Zelda relationship? Let me know what your favorite is. So guys, that is definitely going to conclude this episode of the podcast. And thank you so much for 1 year of me doing this. I cannot believe it's already been a whole year that I've been doing the Kokiri Chronicles podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to 1 whole year. It's already been a whole year, and I'm looking forward to doing more of this in the future. So thank you so much. You guys are so incredible. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to close, I'm going to share with you guys what is going to be the next episode of the Zelda podcast coming in March. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and meet back here next month in the month of March as my next topic. I actually did bring them up earlier in the podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking about one of the most mysterious tribes in the Zelda series. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be talking about the Yiga clan. Yes, I'm going to be going into a deep dive discussion about the Yiga clan. We're going to be talking about the origin story, how did this clan become to be, why are they a clan that actually worships Ganon, what is their obsession with bananas, why is their leader, Master Koga, such a freaking clown, like why is he all goofy and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the Yiga clan. So, if you guys love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, yes, the next discussion for March, on March 3rd, I will be talking about the origin story of the Yiga clan. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night, and I'll see you guys next month as we're talking about the Yiga clan. See you guys then. Bye!